Welcome to What Are You Sporting About podcast, a podcast about business, employment, sports, and entertainment to help educate, support, and guide you to your next level. Here's your host, attorney Sivonnia DeBarros.
Hello there, and welcome to the NIL Combined Speaker Interview Series. I am Sivonnia DeBarros, Protector of Athletes, and I'm so excited to bring another speaker before you guys today who's going to be a part of NIL Combine Live 2023. Super excited to have this speaker join us again this year. But before we dive into why she's joined and the session that she's going to be a part of, I want to invite you guys to make sure that you join us at the upcoming Combine. Listen, you got to get your tickets. So if you have not yet, I need you to make your way over to the website so you can reserve your space. So all you got to do is go to bit.ly/NIL Combine 2023. That's bit.ly/NIL Combine 2023 and get your tickets. That's it. That's all it takes, right? bit.ly/NIL Combine 2023. Go ahead and get your tickets. So people typically ask, what is NIL Combine? Listen, it is the #1 premier event for name, image, and likeness to support student athletes and, of course, their advocates like their parents, their coaches, athletic directors, anyone who advocates for you and on behalf of you so that you can properly leverage, monetize, and protect your name, image, and likeness. So we're all about breaking down certain barriers that have often kept our communities left behind. All right. So, and some of those reasons are access to information, access to people, access to relationships, access to community. And NIL Combine is that place for you to be in the right room with the right people who are really eager to helping you move in the direction that you want to take for the success that you have carved out for yourself, not somebody else, but what you've carved out for yourself. So I really invite you to make sure you get your tickets right now before time runs out. And while there is still seats available, and you see Neena over there telling you guys, like, the clock is ticking. So go to bit.ly/NIL Combine 2023, bit.ly/NIL Combine 2023. And listen, I want to remind you that I said student athletes attend complimentary, but we only have a certain amount of tickets in person. So if you know you want to attend in person as a student athlete, you need to go ahead and register right now. The link is still the same. And the offer that I provided before is still amazing. So for 50 student athletes who register and they attend all 3 days, whether you are attending virtually or in person, you will be invited to a special legal clinic with our attorney panel. Okay, so that would be after the event, of course, because we have to make sure that they are available and able to do that. But that's also added value that I want to provide to you guys. And having counsel, as you guys will learn if you don't already know, is extremely invaluable. It's something that costs a lot of money monetarily. So knowing that you can have that support without it really costing you anything right now is unbelievable. So I wouldn't sleep on this offer if I were you guys. First 50 student athletes who attend all 3 days virtually and or in person, you will get an invite to this. So I will be running to my registration. Go to bit.ly/NIL Combine 2023, bit.ly/NIL Combine 2023. So y'all, like I said, I'm excited. I'm always excited when I'm bringing my speakers before you, because these are people that I've also built relationships with. And I think, well, there's no thinking about it. I know that relationships are extremely important. And this is one reason why I discuss this and talk about this all the time with student athletes and entrepreneurs, right? Sometimes the people that we know, well, it's not necessarily what you know, it's who you know. I know you guys have heard that. And sometimes it can really get you way much closer to your goal. All right. So here we have Neena Speer. She's an attorney, author, speaker, and she calls herself a truth dealer. Okay. She runs her own solo law firm, which specializes in trademark, IP law, and is an Amazon best-selling author. But most of all, she loves sharing her experience as a law student, a Black Indian minority in the field of law, and her journey of failing her first bar exam. So this is a super example of it's not how you start, but it's how you finish, right? So when she's not writing, speaking, or helping her clients, you can find her at Starbucks where the baristas know her drink by order. Okay, knows her drink order by heart. Excuse me. So welcome, Neena. I'm so excited to have you join us again this year. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hi, y'all. I am so excited, y'all. One, kudos to Sivonnia putting on this great event again. I saw it the first time. I saw what she does, and I saw that she's just passionate about athletes. So, number one, the excitement I have to be able to come back as a speaker, the excitement I have to be able to come back as a speaker. And Sivonnia's putting things together for her speakers. And she's right. This is my second time. So, when I was just a moderator last time, I loved it. I was in it. The athletes weren't getting no cookie cutter information that they can go find on Google. They weren't getting told to go fix their Facebook and their Instagram because it's not about social media. NIL is a whole different legal conversation. And that's what we're going to talk about.
So let me ask you this. So you did attend last year. You moderated a session, and you also attended as an attendee for the other sessions. What was your biggest takeaway from last year?
So my biggest takeaway is that Sivonnia has them do walkaways with actual action steps. That is something that I like about conferences. I don't like going into a room and not knowing what I'm supposed to take out of that room and actually use in my daily life. And when I was preparing, because she had us meet before we even talked, right? We had a meeting. We said, what should the action steps be? We planned this out, okay? So when you go, it's not I'm going and I'm just going to sit here and be in the room and be like, all right, well, that's cool. Let's take some pictures. Like, she wants you to take steps, and she's basically planning on the forefront to make sure you have the tools in your hands. That is something that most people are not doing. You're going to walk away with something that is an implementable action step, as y'all see below us. Like, it's important for y'all. It's important for y'all to have action steps and stop going to conferences just to take pictures, okay? That's not what this is about. This is about information you can use to make you better.
No, I definitely appreciate that. And I'm so glad that you've attended last year, moderated last year. Now you're going to be a speaker who's going to be sharing your own expertise and advice during the event. So, what's one thing or two, however much you feel like providing, but why did you agree to come back? Because
So
you
I
could have
agree.
just been like, okay, 1 year is good enough, but you agreed to come back. So I want to know why. And I want the people to know why.
So I agreed to come back because this is personal to me, right? This is personal because I had like a father who was an athlete that was on the first original team of UAB Blazers with Bartow and their whole Sweet 16 run. And he had to struggle as an athlete. He struggled. They barely gave him enough money to eat. He got to a point where he was trying to sell plasma just to be able to eat his meals. He had a terrible agent when he got drafted by the Denver Nuggets, because he did. He got drafted by the Denver Nuggets, and his agent, the deal all fell through. Everything just went down to the crapper. And I said, wow, wouldn't it have been great if he had somebody, who actually talked to him? But then on top of that, my dad had 2 flat feet. So his health took a turn after sports. And so I always wanted to get into sports, but I also wasn't as great at sports. I didn't get to make a career in it. I actually fell in love with sports because of my dad. We used to watch games together all the time. So it's personal to me. It's personal to be able to come back here and give a real testimony that we care. I care. And this conference is about people who care. And then number two, like, I put my name next to anything that I see Sivonnia on. It doesn't matter, time, place, anything. Because she came to Alabama and we and her did a CLE together, and we had everybody in there walk out. And Alabama, we go, y'all know what we are. Anyways, the people in the NIL industry don't look like us. And we had them walk out like, I cannot believe these two Black women are able to talk to us about NIL and teach us, right, about NIL. And she's not even from Alabama, right? She came down, told them about their statute. And that's something that just truly impresses me, that Sivonnia does her homework. She makes sure that she does not give you anything that you can find online. She gives you the stuff that is deep in there, like all these little nooks and crannies that you didn't know, ways that you can get caught up, ways that you can get caught. That is something that if I see her on something, if she can let me in, I'll come in. If I can't come in on the front end, I'm gonna come in on the back end. So it's Sivonnia, the relationships we've made and forged that relationship.
I appreciate that. I definitely appreciate that. So tell them a little bit about you. People who don't know you. You do practice in trademarks, other IP areas. Why you? Why should you be the speaker at NIL Combine, right? So like, what's something that's so interesting about Neena Speer, the attorney, that might shine through come July for the event? So I want people to kind of have an insight into you.
So number one, y'all can probably see it on the screen, but Trademark That Thursdays is my trademark social media series brand. I provide education all the time on Thursdays for people to get their insights into what they can do for a trademark, how they can get not caught up like everybody else in the news, and I explain the news to them. I try to make trademarks approachable to athletes, to anybody that I walk into a room with, because I don't want anyone to walk out with like, dang, they stole my sizzle reel, or they got my action shot, or dang, that sound bite that I thought when my mic was hot, that's like now a sound that they've just taken and made theirs. Like, I don't want you getting caught up, right? And I have made a brand that says, I want to give you the education. I want to make sure that you don't come here scared. I want to make sure you come here informed and that you have the ability to fight back for yourself. Number two, y'all, I started teaching financial literacy in schools. And I got a chance to teach 60 football players at one of my schools. And there was a football player or two, it was like 5 or 6, and it became a little cohort that were just so engaged by the end. But one kid, he actually finished all the assignments, came to every class. And I told him, he's like, Miss Neena, I want your financial literacy book when it comes out. I personally hand delivered it to him while he was at practice, because he's also on the basketball team. So it was just like, come on, man, like I could never catch you. But literally, I saw kids' eyes light up when we started talking about, here's the tools that you need, instead of people telling you that you can't do it. So I want to be somebody who tells you can, and tells you that it doesn't have to be hard if you have a team.
I love that. It doesn't have to be hard if you have a team. And I think it's so important that people recognize that lawyers are a part of your team. And there's going to come a time. There's going to come a time. Let me start that over. We're recording, so I'll push this one out. Hold on, because my quality of camera isn't that best. Isn't that great? Let's see if this one will come back in. Oh, shucks. Why today? Why today? Girl. All right, well, we'll just keep moving with this. There will come a time when you will need multiple lawyers. And I don't think people typically think about that. It's a very necessary position that you should always be thinking about. And I like how you gave the story about your dad, because his story isn't just, specific to him. There's so many athletes that have kind of suffered the same or very substantially similar fate to him, which is unfortunate, right? But when you have a team, and that team also includes lawyers, you're able to protect your brand a lot better. So you're going to be on a panel talking about fortifying your brand. And on this panel, it's called the Fortified Shield, Defending and Protecting Your NIL Rights. Tell us a little bit about what you want. Student athletes, their parents, anyone who supports them, like what do you want personally for them to walk away with from this panel?
I really want them to walk away with knowing how to identify their assets, right? Most of us don't even know what we have as an asset. Those things that I told you about earlier, your hot mic, like I'm just here so I don't get fined, is trademarked by Marshawn Lynch. But in the Let's Get Ready to Rumble, Muhammad Ali did not get to trademark his Let's Get Ready to Rumble portion that he used to say. I want you to know that everything that you say is now a trademarkable asset if you start thinking about it in a monetizable form. But first, you got to understand how a brand becomes a brand. And that's how you understand asset building. You can't know what the asset is if you think that just the phrase alone is going to do it. Just throwing it on a t-shirt is going to do it. An asset doesn't mean that. An asset means that it is an income and revenue generating, producing vehicle. And with you not having to do a thing, it works on its own. And that is the hardest part of us to develop. Like Trademark That Thursdays works on its own now, but I had to put a lot of work in for it to work on its own. I had to put a lot of videos and Canva and late nights and 3 a.m.s. And I don't feel like posting this, but I'm going to post it and be consistent enough to have data out there for people to be like, okay, I'm going to call her for a trademark. The same thing for you as an athlete. You have to have enough out there for people to be like, okay, I'm going to lean on him for my brand marketing or my brand development because I think he can take our brand places. That's an asset. And I just want you to walk away thinking about that. What's your asset? Just walk away, ask yourself what's your asset, and put all of the work, throw all of the money and the work on that board. Nothing else. Just focus on one asset at a time. She glistening now, y'all. She got the camera.
Look, I'm for real. I'm like, let's see if it'll work. That's why I waited for you to pause so I can have a clean space to edit. So Neena, that is great advice because it's hard to protect something if you don't really know that you have something. And that is the black hole that a lot of people fall into, entrepreneurs, athletes, business owners. And I don't think people even recognize, like, even $1 billion businesses are still making these mistakes. So if we can learn from them, if we can provide you with the tools for you to start having those light bulbs go off earlier, then you will be in a better position. But that's also why team building is so important, but also taking advantage of the resources that are before you. So if you have not secured your ticket, this is a resource. NIL Combine is the resource. This is a place where you guys can come to get truly unfiltered support. All right. Not the rah stuff that you're going to leave still with questions weeks and months and years later, but real unfiltered support. So secure your ticket right now for NIL Combine 2023 live event before our prices go up and while space is still available. Go to bit.ly/NIL Combine 2023, bit.ly/NIL Combine 2023, bit.ly/NIL Combine 2023. So Neena, absolutely. I love what you said because it's very true. Like I stated, you can't really protect something if you don't know what it is, if you're not able to truly identify your assets. But you guys are going to be covering quite a bit of stuff. And I know that your brand is trademarked That Thursdays and it's registered, but explain a little bit really quickly why it's important to really think about trademarks and whether your assets should be trademarked or not.
I think that's the best question to ask yourself. Like, should it be trademarked? A lot of us don't even think about should. They just want to trademark it. I just left a talk where I said, oops, I messed up my trademark application. And one thing that someone said, and I can't say it better than the people that I have met because they are walking, talking billboards of what you can experience if you don't think all the way through. They said, It was too common, too generic, too unextraordinary to be trademarked. And I'm not saying that your business plan and your business goals aren't extraordinary. I'm saying that the words that you're creating are not you pushing enough. And you know what he ended up coming to the conclusion of when he did get rejected? He said, guess what? I think I need to do more research, more work to make a bigger, stronger name. He said that that's what that rejection taught him. So I don't want you to even have to go through that rejection because it's unnecessary, right? If you do the research, as he said, when I did the research, I realized there were a bunch of other people using that same name. It's not worth it, right? There's not a bunch of other people using NIL Combine, but somebody will, and they'll get their cease and desist and that lawsuit. Like, I'm just letting you know, like, you don't have to create anything super out of the box, but you got to think, can I smush words together? Can I make them up? Are there words that don't exist in the English language that I can give new meaning to? You have to think like that. I don't want you trademarking stuff that somebody has already trademarked a part of, a portion of, or a big identifiable piece of the phrase. And I think that a lot of us get caught up in just trying to have a certificate just to have one. I don't have one just to have one. I have used my certificate to send cease and desist letters to tell people to stop. And if I don't, I report it to Instagram and ask them to take it down if I see content that mimics or is using similar phrasing to mine. And that's really important. You have to make sure that you can enforce it. If you're getting it just to have it, I mean, that's a really expensive sheet of paper. It's just like our degrees, okay? We're not trying to have no degrees trademarks. We're trying to have degrees we can use, not degrees that we put, in that box and we stopped hanging it on our wall because we're not doing nothing with it. Not that. So.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So that is great advice. And one thing I want to pull out for you guys, this is another reason why you guys definitely need to make sure you come to NIL Combine, because we're going to go a little bit more in depth. But one thing that Neena said is not always do you need a trademark. Like, some stuff that you might think you want a trademark might not even be worth it. You might be wasting your time and your money and have to go right back to the drawing board. So it's always good to sit down and speak with an attorney prior to even filing an application like this. But another thing to consider is whatever you have might not even be right for trademark. So we'll be talking about the different vehicles of protecting your NIL, protecting your brands that are stemming from NIL. And so this is definitely not a place that you want to miss. And student athletes, I've already told you, if you are registering and you're one of the 50, you will be invited to a complimentary legal session. This is the kind of stuff that we're talking about. Like, this is the next level stuff that people don't talk about in their businesses. They don't talk about in their strategy sessions. They don't talk about really anywhere. But you are going to be invited to come here and really get the tea. All right. Really get the gems and the nuggets that are going to help you start off very, very strong around name, image, and likeness. All right. Neena, is there anything that you would like to leave for viewers, student athletes, anyone that's watching?
Just remember that as a student athlete, you have more power than you think. You have more power than sometimes your coaches make you aware of. You have more power than what the contract that you sign makes you aware of. And you have more power than what the school makes you aware of. And you have to know what that power is in order to assert your rights. You got to read your handbooks. You got to read your contracts. You got to read everything. But you have more power than you think. And you don't have to give it away. And that's really what I want you to remember. You don't have to give it away. And this event is going to show you how to stop giving it away. If you could just stop giving it away, you would feel more empowered to start whatever you're trying to start next. And if you feel that you have more power, then you come to this event and see something amazing that gives you that power back. And then you can be a light to all the other athletes at that school. Okay. This is a take it back to everybody and supply the knowledge and bring them back type situation. So you have more power, because if you get the information and you share it and disseminate it, because athletes are a special group, we got the protector of athletes right here on the phone, okay, right here. So if you take it and bring it back to your athlete group, y'all can get together and make stuff happen. Shake it up, disrupt it. So that's all I want to say.
That's right. That's absolutely correct. So Neena, I, for one, thank you again for joining us this year as NIL Combine speaker expert. Y'all already know I get super hyped and excited when it's something that I'm passionate about. If I don't get excited, if my voice don't do all kind of, spikes and lows and everything, then y'all already know I ain't that wild about it, right? So if I'm getting excited about it, you can really see my passion. You know that this is not just an event for me to just be doing for the sake of my health, because it's not. All right. I'm doing this out of the sake of purpose, and bringing speakers like Neena is an extension of that purpose. So I really want you guys to be in the room, but you have to also want it for yourself. You can lead the horse to water, but you can't make them drink, which is an old proverb in the Black community. So whether you want to nourish your mind or not, that's totally up to you. But the resources and the opportunities exist here at NIL Combine. So make sure you go ahead and get your tickets right now before time runs out. You can go to bit.ly/NIL Combine 2023, bit.ly/NIL Combine 2023. Thank you guys so much for joining us on this speaker interview series. I am Sivonnia DeBarros, a protector of athletes. And until next time, it is my pleasure to educate, support you, and motivate you to your very next level. Talk later. Bye.
Thanks for joining us this week on What Are You Sporting About podcast. Make sure to visit our website, prosportlawyer.com, where you can subscribe to the show in iTunes, Stitcher, or whatever your favorite platform is, so you'll never miss a show. And while you're at it, if you found value in the show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes or iHeartRadio. Or if you'd simply tell a friend about the show, that would help us out too. If you like the show, you might want to check out our book, What Are You Sporting About? Attorney Sivonnia DeBarros is available for private consulting at sldebarros.com. And remember, we're here to educate, support, and guide you in your journey to success, because we're all sporting about something.